Good evening, everybody. This is Heather slash Hetty from Epilepsy Cures, and also known as actually the first site I had was Alive. Well, okay, it switched to Alive in Me. It used to be Hetty for Christ, but my most active one is Alive in Me, but the one that I reach out to people with epilepsy and any type of seizure disorders and illnesses. Um, as I've said before, I've got several. um, is at Epilepsy Cures. So just go ahead and visit me and join me there. And I would love to just connect and discuss things with you. And to be honest with you, I know quite a few places that are keen to great help. Um, First off, was just rereading this book that is an amazing book I'll always love from Rick Warren. And there's just this capture in it that's just phenomenal if you think about it. And it's in regards to prayer. And when you've got things, well, actually, it's anything in life, it's everything in life. And especially when you do have things, especially with health going on, with prayer, this is something big to think about. And it says, what do you pray about? Whatever you pray about is what you are hooked into God about, what you are relying on Him for. Whatever you don't pray about is what you are trying to do on your own. And prayer is the acid test. And so, what he's saying, and he goes on and on about pray for this and pray for that and pray for this and pray for that. But all in all, it's the fact is that we need to pray for everything. Not just epilepsy, not just seizures, not just disorders, not just the down times. We need to pray for every day, for the next day, for happiness, for glee, for people in our lives, for just simple things that He's blessed us with. And with that, He hears us and He loves the fact that we respect each and everything that He provides. And so the bigger prayers that we have, such as health, He looks at us and says, wow, you know what? They pray about everything. And so let me look at their health. And let's just look at how we can even open the doors even more. What answers do we have? And doors do open. And He has reasons behind everything. It's just we definitely have to pray and we definitely have to pay attention to what answers in His will He does have open. I also have, this is just kind of an oddity night, a few books that even actually before I found Jesus that grabbed me. There is this absolutely amazing author who did suffer from epilepsy. But however, this is a memoir. So the way that you read it will be a little bit different. But if you have epilepsy, it will absolutely amaze you at the things that she does talk about because you can completely relate to so many of the type of auras that she was talking about. Um, and it's, believe it or not, it's a memoir, and the book is itself is called Lying. And it's by Lauren Slater, and she became a psychologist, believe it or not. And strangely enough, that's what I wanted. It's what I'm, going to become, whether it's counseling slash psychology. But she really kind of was a mentor in a strange manner before I ever even thought about becoming one, because I read that back in 2001. So think about it again. The book itself is called Lying, and it's by Lauren Slater. And like I said, it's a memoir. Um, for people who have ever been through any addictions, now you have to kind of hold tight with the words that are included in this book. However, it's James Fry. So if you're not used to any tough words, then I don't recommend it. However, if you've ever been through any tough times with addiction, you will understand the tough words being used because of rehab. And it's called A Million Little Pieces by James Fry. And that was a pretty amazing book itself. There are a couple others out there that I will recommend a little bit later. But those are the couple that I have tonight for any out there that have those struggles. And they just really were pretty darn interesting for me. And the very first one, that lying one, was very just grabbing because it was during the time that I was absolutely flabbergasted at everything I was going through and had no idea that my seizures would change the way that they did. So I wasn't alone when I read her book. Um, my precious child, like I said before, does have epilepsy, and she does have a little bit of, we can't really determine exactly. It hasn't been diagnosed as ADHD. However, we do have her on a very tiny dose of an ADHD medication because it runs from her biological parent, um, who will no longer be part of her life. However, it still is biologically, related to her. She does, it's not definitely an attention distraction. She just has these different altering ways of trying to, she just needs more time and spelling and ways to convert um, when she looks at a math quiz and how much time she gets. So on and so forth. But when she had her IQ test, her IQ was very high. There was only a couple complications, and that's just like my ex. So we do have her on a small dose of Focalin, and the moment that I put her on that, all of a sudden, oh my gosh, her handwriting was absolutely changed overnight, and she writes like she has done cursive for 4 years as opposed to 3 days. So, even when you do have the scarce of feeling like, oh gosh, it's that scary drug of an ADHD, you have to give into terms. It would only be a few years to get that attention and her extra care at school through an IEP to get her to twist and turn her attention and how to learn in her manner. And it's been absolutely fabulous so far. The teacher, I talked to her for about an hour tonight, and we were able to relate on how she reacts. She's very sensitive, and all it takes are a few words with this absolutely phenomenal child. She doesn't need to be yelled at. And I believe that comes from Jesus. So she's a very sensitive child. So any concerns like that with children, um, ADHD, epilepsy, any type of sensitivity, come to me as well. And I can talk to you about that in addition to just plain old epilepsy. Um, but I thank you everybody for your chit chats, your talks, and I can't wait to, talk to you in depth and just like I said, come to my causes site on Facebook at causes.com/epilepsy cures. And I would love to chit chat with you and have you post your testimony. And God bless each and every one of you tonight. Rest well and make sure you take your medicine right. And have a great night. God bless.